Welcome to the online video series presented by Structure Studios. These videos are designed to assist those using the software for the first time, but can benefit all members. This video is entitled Advanced Drawing and Interface and will explain some of the more advanced controls. This video starts where the video Basic Drawing and Interface ended, so you will want to have completed that video before viewing this one. Using the line and arc tools, we've drawn a basic Roman shape. We're going to continue our discussion of the 8 core tools. The outline tool allows you to draw a new shape using an existing shape as a guide. This tool is perfect for drawing hardscapes, so we'll left-click on the Stage drop-down menu and go to the Hardscapes and Deck stage. The outline tool works through a series of left clicks. While using the outline tool, each time you left-click, you will tell the program a different piece of information to help draw your shape. We'll left-click on the outline tool in the panel menu to activate it. You'll notice that our cursor has a question mark on it. We need to select the shape we want to outline by left-clicking on it. We'll use the Roman shape as our guide. We'll left-click once on the line of the Roman shape. Now the cursor has an up arrow between a dotted line and a solid line. At this point, we need to determine the offset for our outline. As we move our cursor away from the edge of the shape, an orange line with a distance appears. If we want, we can simply trace the existing shape and not do an offset as well. This time, we'll move the offset line until it extends 3 feet left of the top left corner of the original shape, and then we'll left-click. We're going to trace the outline in orange. We'll trace around the entire shape and back to the original point. Then left-click to make a complete shape. The hotkey for the outline tool is the letter D on the keyboard. You can freely switch between tools even while using the outline tool. This allows you to use the line and arc tools to modify the shape of your outline. We'll demonstrate this by drawing a new hardscape. First, we'll delete the existing hardscape by selecting it with the Move tool and pressing the Delete button at the top of the screen. You can also use the Delete key on your keyboard. Now we'll select the Outline tool by pressing D on the keyboard and use it to create a new hardscape. This time, though, we'll draw a slightly different shape, using our other tools as well. With the Outline tool, we'll left-click on our original shape to use it as a guide. Just like before, we'll offset by 3 feet. Starting at the top left corner of the Roman shape, we'll trace the outline to the right across the top, down the right side, and to the left across the bottom until we come to the bottom left-hand corner. We'll left-click there to stop tracing the outline. Now we'll switch to the Line tool by pressing A on our keyboard. We'll draw to the left 3 feet and left-click, and then draw up 9 feet and left-click. Now we switch back to the Outline tool by pressing the letter D on our keyboards. Again, we'll use the Roman shape as our guide. As you can see, the software has already guessed the segment we want to draw, so all we have to do is trace from our current point to the very first point we drew. You can switch between tools at any time while drawing by clicking on the tool or using the corresponding hotkey. You can also use the Outline tool on more than one object while drawing. This makes it easier to draw complex shapes. The Divide tool allows you to add additional points to an existing shape. This is useful when you want to edit part of a shape you've already drawn. The right side of our hardscape still matches the Roman shape, but we would like to have it match the left side. In order to edit our hardscape, we first need to delete the segments we want to change. Using our mouse wheel, we'll zoom in on the 3 foot 10 inch segment in the bottom right corner of our hardscape. We'll select just the 3 foot 10 inch segment by clicking on the midpoint with the Move tool. Midpoints are hollow squares, while endpoints are solid. When we left-click on the midpoint, the segment turns orange. Now we'll press the Delete button and just that segment will be deleted. We'll left-click on a blank area of grid so that we have nothing selected. You'll notice that our hardscape is now red. The red color tells us that the hardscape is an incomplete shape. The hardscape will not appear in 3D until we complete it. We'll select our hardscape with the Move tool to continue working with it. We've deleted one segment so far, but we would also like to make a change to the arc on the right side. We'll select the arc by clicking on the dotted radius line. Now the arc has turned orange. If we hit delete now, the entire arc will be deleted, but we only want to delete half of the arc. This is the perfect opportunity to use the Divide tool. We'll activate the Divide tool. Using our mouse wheel, we'll zoom in on the arc. We want to create our point right at the tip of the radius line where the arrow touches the arc. We'll left-click on the line of the arc and create a new point halfway across. As you can see, our arc is now split into two 6-foot 3-inch segments. Don't worry if it's not the right size. Select the Move tool to adjust the location of the new divide point. Each segment has its own radius line. We'll click on the radius line of the lower arc and then delete it by pressing the Delete button. With our mouse wheel, we'll zoom our view back out until we can see the whole shape. The hotkey for the Divide tool is the letter T on your keyboard. First, we'll select our hardscape with the Move tool, and then activate the Line tool. You'll notice that the free end points on our shape have turned orange. Whenever you have an incomplete shape selected and you activate the Line, Arc, or Outline tool, the software will highlight the free end points in orange. This makes it easy to connect incomplete shapes. We'll start by left-clicking with the Line tool on the end point at the bottom of our half arc. We'll then draw down 9 feet and left-click. We can then draw to the left 3 feet and left-click on the other free end point. Or, thanks to the orange target line, we can click back on the last point again to complete the shape. We have now connected our hardscape back into a complete shape. We want to make the bottom of our hardscape a little longer. First, we'll switch to the Move tool. Then we'll click and hold on the midpoint of the 32-foot segment. Remember, the midpoint is the empty box. As we drag our mouse down, the sides of the hardscape will lengthen. We'll do this until the 9-foot segments are 12 feet. Using the Move tool like this on segments of a shape allows you to edit the shape without deleting segments. Now we'll take a look at other features of some of the tools that were discussed in the basic drawing and interface video. The Move tool is the tool you will use most often. It is used not only to move items, but also to select them. In order to use the different controls found in the panel, you must have a shape selected. For example, Smart Data gives you information on the calculations for the shape. It's located on the left of the screen below the library. As you can see, right now it's blank because we have nothing selected. As soon as we click on the hardscape with our Move tool, it displays information. We'll see the hardscape area and perimeter for our shape. And as we move over each value, the area being calculated is highlighted in green. When we click on the pool or water feature in the corresponding stage, the information changes and we can view other calculations for this shape. To learn more about Smart Data, make sure to watch the corresponding tutorial video. In this video, we've drawn shapes that already had set dimensions. When you're creating designs, though, you may not always know how large something needs to be. In order to draw, you'll need to know the distances between existing objects such as the house and property line. This is where the guides come in. Some guides are located at the top of the panel menu below Tools, and others are at the bottom on the Labels and Guides tab. The guide that you will use most often is the Measure Guide, found at the top of the panel under the 8 main tools. The Measure Guide draws an arrow which displays the distance between 2 points. This is very useful when you need to start drawing at a certain point. For example, if your Roman shape is 10 feet from the back of your house. It can also be used to help measure shapes you've already drawn. The arcs in our Roman shape make it difficult to quickly see the length and width of the Roman shape. We'll left-click on the Measure button to activate the Measure Guide. Zooming in with the mouse wheel, we'll left-click just under the center of the top line of the Roman shape. We'll then measure straight down to the bottom line of the shape. Now it's easy to see the width of our shape is 12 feet. We'll do the same thing for the length, starting in the center of the arc on the left side of the Roman shape and measure straight across to the arc on the right side. Now we can see the length of our shape is 26 feet. Since we measured through the center of our shape, the measurements on our lines are stacked on top of each other. We can fix this by offsetting one of the measure lines. We'll left-click and hold directly on the 26-foot measurement. As we move our mouse down, the measure line will offset from its original position until we can clearly read the 12-foot measurement. The dotted lines on either side of the measure line show that it's offset. Back in the Smart Data menu, we can use values such as envelope to see similar measurements calculated automatically for us. The next guide, the text guide, allows you to label objects in your design and add information. Simply click on Text, left-click to create a text block, and use the keyboard to enter your text. The guides are primarily used in the construction phase. For more detailed information on all the guides, please see the set of construction videos. The final guides are the shape guides, rectangle and circle. We'd like to add a planter bed to the project, so we'll start with the rectangle guide to mark the area where we'll create it. We'll select the rectangle guide and left-click on the bottom left-hand corner of our hardscape. We'll pull down 6 feet and right 32 feet and left-click to set the guide in place. We want to create a planter bed, so in Pool Studio and VIP 3D, we'll go to the Planters stage, and in Vistera, we'll go to the Planter Bed stage. We'll start by selecting the Outline tool. We'll left-click on the hardscape and trace over the bottom line. We'll left-click again in the bottom right-hand corner of the shape and trace 32 feet left and left-click. Let's use our final tool to create a freeform planter bed. We'll select the Freehand tool. We'll create our planter bed inside our 6x32 rectangle guide, starting where the outline stopped. The Freehand tool works like drawing with pencil and paper. As long as you hold down and left-click while moving the mouse, the Freehand tool will draw lines and arcs following your cursor. We want our planter to be freeform, so we'll create 3 arcs with the Freehand tool. We'll start by left-clicking on the end point to the left. Then draw down and to the right, within the confines of our rectangle guide, and end the shape in the bottom right of the hardscape. We'll see 2 lines created from our Freehand tool, a white line and a purple line. The purple line shows us precisely what we drew with the Freehand tool, and the white line is how the software auto-corrected the arcs and lines. Under the Object tab, we can adjust the Freehand settings slider and display fewer curves or more curves. As we do, we see our purple line remains the same, but the white line updates to reflect the change. We'll adjust until our planter looks the way we want, with fewer arcs. It's important to note that if we modify our freeform shape, such as using the Move tool to move a point, the purple line will no longer appear and we cannot adjust the slider any further. There's one more feature that is important to know about when drawing. At the top of the screen, in the top bar, is a section called Snaps and Constraints. The controls in this section affect how your lines are drawn. Turning these controls on will assist you in drawing straight lines, while turning them off will make drawing freeform shapes easier. For example, the point and line settings will snap your lines to the edges and corners of existing shapes. As we draw with the Line tool, we can see the lines snap to these parts of the shape. When the Grid Snap is activated, we'll automatically snap to the grid, and turning it off will give more freedom of motion. Lastly, the Angle Snaps will keep your lines and arcs snapping to 45 degrees, or if set to none, give you full range of motion. This completes instruction on advanced drawing and interface. Now that you've finished this video, please enjoy the rest of the videos for each individual stage and feature. Thank you for using Pool Studio, Vistera, and VIP 3D. For more information, please visit support.structurestudios.com or call 800-778-8996 or email support@structurestudios.com.